The steps of the U.S. Supreme Court are filled tonight with people mourning the loss of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She died this evening surrounded by family at her home in Washington, D.C. at the age of 87 from complications of pancreatic cancer.
As news of Ginsburg's death started to spread, President Trump was on stage speaking during a scheduled rally in Minnesota. President Trump later told reporters he didn't learn of the Supreme Court justice's death until he was informed by those same reporters moments before boarding Air Force One.
She just died? Wow. I didn't know that. You're telling me now for the first time. She led an amazing life. What else can you say? She was an amazing woman. Whether you agreed or not, she was an amazing woman who led an amazing life.
Vice President Joe Biden says a nomination to replace Ginsburg should come from the next person elected president.
This was the position of the Republican Senate took in 2016 when there were almost 10 months to go before the election. That's the position the United States Senate must take today.
Senator Mitch McConnell pledges the Senate will vote on Ginsburg's replacement, something our News 5 political analyst Tom Sutton believes will happen as well.
Remember that President Trump, whether he wins or loses, remains president until January 20th. And I highly anticipate that either way, we will see President Trump making an appointment and the Senate holding its hearings and confirming whoever he appoints well before that January 20th deadline.
Just last week, President Trump shared a list of potential Supreme Court nominees. It includes 3 sitting Republican senators, Ted Cruz, Tom Cotton, and Josh Hawley.
Ohio Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown says it was Ginsburg's dying wish that her replacement be named after the next president is installed. He says we should honor her by fighting as hard as we can to preserve her legacy and ensure women are in all places where decisions are being made. Republican Senator Rob Portman just released a statement saying she stands as an example for us all, also calling her a trailblazer. Now, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine says Ginsburg served with a strength and dignity that inspires us all.
Justice Ginsburg has had a number of health challenges in recent years, valiantly fighting each one of them and each time returning to the court. ABC News' Karen Travers brings us the legacy she leaves behind.
She was just the second woman to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court, but Ruth Bader Ginsburg's true legacy may be as the legal architect of the equal rights movement. She graduated at the top of her class at Columbia Law School. Her career began in the 1950s when sexual and racial discrimination was a fact of life.
Not a law firm in the entire city of New York bid for my employment as a lawyer.
Eventually, she was hired by the American Civil Liberties Union. There, she would help lead a movement that changed the nation, challenging laws that treated men and women differently in employment, housing, and government benefits. She was appointed to the High Court by President Clinton in 1993.
In her pioneering work in behalf of the women of this country, she has compiled a truly historic record of achievement.
As a Supreme Court justice, she was best known for the far-reaching decision that struck down the Virginia Military Institute's men-only admission policy.
Those doors that were shut tight against us are now open. So, long term, I remain optimistic.
Justice Ginsburg was known as a judicial workhorse. She worked throughout her treatment for cancer in 1999 and again 10 years later. In January 2019, her recovery from surgery to remove cancerous lesions from her lung forced her to miss oral arguments, but she continued working from home. Ginsburg became something of a pop culture icon late in her life. This comedic but still reverent impression of her on Saturday Night Live.
I'm never gonna step down now, you can't get rid of me!
A documentary titled RBG, after a nickname given to her by fans, and the 2018 film On the Basis of Sex, focusing on her push for equal rights. On social issues like civil rights, abortion, and separation of church and state, she was a consistent liberal, yet she won the admiration of many conservatives for her grasp of the law and carefully considered opinions. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Reactions are pouring in from all across the nation tonight. You can follow along and see the developing news about Ruth Bader Ginsburg's life and legacy on the News 5 app and at news5cleveland.com.